Hi everybody, welcome back. So we're going to talk about the application profit, cost, or revenue, which is a good example of using building functions from outlier functions, because in particular the profit function is built out of the revenue and cost function. So let's look at some notation here. We're going to use C of x here is the notation for the cost function, so we're going to call this C for cost. And I don't have a notation formula here, but in words, cost is always variable costs times fixed costs. So things of fixed costs could be like utilities, estimated amount of labor, that kind of stuff. Things that typically do not change based on the number of items you produce. Revenue is simply the number of items sold times the price per item. So basically this is this item number of items sold, that's just going to be a variable x, and so we just need to multiply that by the price per item. And then profit is just you take the revenue function and subtract off the cost function. And so we just have that in notation right here, and that's where this applies to this section. So let's look at an example. So we have this company, Adobe Hope, which is a nonprofit organization, publishes a weekly newsletter, and the fixed cost is $900 per week, and the marginal cost is 25 cents per newsletter. So marginal cost here, this word marginal, in this context you want to think of slope of line. Now if you take an econ course or you take the business or calculus for the business and social sciences, you'll learn a little bit more about what marginal means. But in the context of this class, it's just going to mean a slope of a line. So if the newsletter is sold for $1.50 per copy, we need to find these different things. So the first thing it wants us to do is find the cost, revenue, and profit functions. So our cost function, well, we know what our fixed costs are going to be. They're going to be $900 because it actually told us the fixed cost was $900. So then it also talks about marginal cost. So notice when it says marginal cost, it's going to be the slope of a line in the cost function. So this is going to be 0.25 times the number of copies we're going to let. So we're going to let X be the number of copies sold. So now so that's the cost function. To find the revenue function, well, we just said it was X times the price per item sold. Well, if we're selling them for $1.50, this is going to be 1.5 times X dollars. And then the profit is just R minus C of X, which is R of X minus C of X. Well, R of X is just 1.5x minus, and now we want to put a parenthesis here to remember to distribute this negative, 0.25x plus 900. So this is kind of a common error, is people forget to distribute that negative. So if you put the parentheses there, that is a reminder that you have to distribute. So we'll have 1.5x minus 0.25x minus 900, and this gives us 1.25x minus 900. Alright, so that's first item. So second item, how many newsletters must be sold to break even? So think about what break even means. Break even means that you made no profit, you didn't make any, but you didn't lose anything either. So what break even means in this case is that you want P of X to equal 0. So your revenue equals your cost. So we're looking for the value of X that satisfies this equation. So we're going to replace the P of X with this value right here, because that was what was equal to P of X. So we have 1.25 minus 900, and we're going to set that equal to 0, and we solve for x, so we'll get 1.25x equals 900, and dividing both sides by 1.25, we see that we get 720 newsletters. Our last problem is we want to determine how much money will be returned to the community if 1,000 newsletters are sold. So we're actually just looking for P of 1,000. So remember, P of X was this formula right here. So we're going to have 1.25 times 1,000 minus 900. So 1.25 times 1,000. So you move the decimal to the right 3 places, and we'll get 1,250. And we're going to subtract 900 off from that, and we will get $350. So they made $350 in profit, so that's how much they can give back to the community. So that's everything we have for this section, and that will be everything we have for this section. I will see you in class.